present to you today and tell you the Keste story and share our experience and our energy. We hope that energy is passed on to you today. I know you have a lot of great hopes and optimism for what you do after you leave UTD. And what I do want to emphasize, besides Shri being a graduate of the Graduate School of Engineering in EE, Keste is a big supporter of UTD. Majority of our employees come from UTD. So there's definitely a big partnership that's been there since the beginning. We've also partnered with Michael Savoy and CITM. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that early stages. So we're really proud of the association and the employees that came out of UTD. So what we want to do today, I hope we can, again, pass on that energy, the energy of Keste, to you as you start thinking about what you want to do when you leave UT Dallas from a business standpoint. I think what you're going to hear is a story of how we started a company and sustained a company and actually grown a company. It's not something you wouldn't necessarily read in a textbook or pick up, see in a book on a magazine rack. It's a little bit of a different story. We don't have a lot of time to get through all the points, but I hope you kind of pick up on some of the things that we did. Shri and I, in true partnership fashion, we tag team on these things, so I'm going to go first, and we'll probably move back and forth a couple times. So I'll give you a quick background on what I've done over time. And maybe pass back what I think is important in terms of building a career. I'm a EE from UT Austin, so I'm in the family, and came out of school and did 2 years out at TI. And I know TI's TI's probably one of the largest supporters of UTD, especially in early stages, especially the founders. But what is a little different is I'm very jealous of all of you. Most of you, how many are getting your MBA? Is it most? Majority? Okay, quite a few. I never went and got my MBA, so I'm very jealous. I got out, went to Texas Instruments, and the plan was always to get an MBA. But I think kind of having that entrepreneurial spirit, I just went out and started doing. I left TI in less than 2 years and went out and started consulting. So I was basically, TI made me real smart, and I went out on my own and was able to consult pretty much for most of the 80s, and that's what gave me the seed money to start my first business. Keste is actually the second business that started and founded. So in 90, went into that entrepreneurial stage, started a company called Altrua. It was basically in the business process outsourcing company. And in 98, sold that to a publicly held company called Century Business Services. And stayed on there for a while. And then where I really think I got my graduate business training was at a place called European Aeronautics, Defense and Space. We'll talk a little bit more about that because that's a big part of how Keste got started. But I was an executive with them. That's where I got my international business experience. They're the parent of Airbus. So if you know Airbus, there's Boeing and Airbus. I was fortunate enough to gain a position there. And then in 2004, we actually spun Keste out of EADS. That's our roots, is with EADS. So Shri and I took the company out in 2004.
Quick, kind of the backdrop that Howard did about me and how I got into what I'm doing today. Again, one of the first things I always say, when I finished my school, high school, and wanted to kind of get into college, do something, I really didn't know what I was going to be doing. My uncle, at that time, he was my advisor. He said, you know what, in life you can learn one thing very well in school, is to learn to solve problems. Whatever you do, don't miss the fact that you got to learn how to solve problems. Because if you don't get that, then whatever you learn doesn't matter. So that kind of caused me to kind of kick off my engineering degree with electrical engineering, because at that point in time, I did my analysis and said, you know what, where do you really understand how to solve problems? I picked up EE. So I was really interested in math and calculus. So that was my first customer. I mean, payroll started. We need to do something about it. So Atmos Energy was our first milestone. I would call officially the first customer outside EADS. How many of you know Atmos Energy? They're one of the largest gas utility in the southern part of the country. So we built a software for them that actually designs the gas pipelines under the ground. And right after that, Qualcomm, right there is this, March of 2005. I mean, that was another huge milestone. That was our second milestone customer. The next milestone would be Airtel. If you kind of go through the path, right before Airtel, we closed a lot of customers in the country, expanded the business. I think we became 35, 40 employees. And that's when we got a call from Airtel in India. So a lot of you from India here. Airtel is one of the largest telecommunications company in India. So we got a call through Oracle. I mean, Oracle put the trust in us. They knew who we were. They knew what we have solved. They knew that we were the specialists in the telecom vertical. And Airtel wanted to solve a very similar problem. And Airtel calls somebody in Singapore, Singapore calls Australia, Australia calls China, China calls US. Finally, we get the call. So we got into Airtel. Within 2 months, we were the architects of Airtel to actually go architect the same solution that we did for Qualcomm and a couple other telecommunications in the country, replicated in Airtel. So if you go buy an Airtel phone in India, it'll go through the solution that we implemented for Airtel to give you. One of the key traits that we always kept in play, our solutions are key. People keep calling us because of our solutions. So let's make sure we never lose sight of that. Our culture, Howard had the slide about Keste DNA. It's our culture, how we attack a problem, how we think about it, how we go about solving it. We always kept that in play. And when we started the India operations, we said, it's not going to be another outsourcing center. It's going to be another Keste US, right? Our culture, our DNA, what we have here, we got to inculcate in there as well. So that's going pretty well. If you walk into the Keste India office in Hyderabad, it'll be just like another Keste US. Here in our office, creativity is high. The type of problems we deal with, the type of solutions we deal with, it's not commodity. There's a lot of unique variations when you start dealing with high-tech. Companies like NetApp, companies like SunGuard, they have crazy problems. And, sitting here, right, you're doing your MBA, you would assume, yeah, all these big companies have figured it out. Not really. There's so many problems still not solved, and there's a huge opportunity. So when you always see that, you got to keep your creativity high, your innovation level high, so you can always walk into these customers, and there is always an opportunity to solve some problems. So with that spirit, we kept going, closed many customers. Alcatel-Lucent is a huge customer of ours. Same quality work we keep doing, and they keep buying from us. I mean, it doesn't have to be any more complex than that, right? You take a customer, service them well, have a niche, keep solving. They want you back solving more problems. Alcatel-Lucent is a huge customer of ours. Same quality work we keep doing, and they keep buying from us. I mean, it doesn't have to be any more complex than that, right? You take a customer, service them well, have a niche, keep solving. They want you back solving more problems. And finally, I think that's kind of the 2011 milestone is we outgrew our office. The office we are right now, we can't survive in that. So we are moving to a brand new office, double the size, working through that process. So within 3 to 4 months, we'll be in our brand new office, around 35,000 square feet in Plano. We chose Plano for a reason. That's another kind of a thing that magically happened, but it works for us. Howard's from Dallas. I ended up in Dallas. Dallas is a good place to be. If you look at Howard and I have traveled a lot in a lot of cities. We can't think of any other place where we want to be in for business. And magically it happened. Plano is a good place to be. We can attract talent from all over the country. We have moved people from Boston, Chicago, California. Pick a place. They love to be in Dallas. Love to be in Plano. So it magically worked out for us. We'll be in Plano forever. Of course, we have grown in California. About to start a unit in Atlanta, so that'll start happening. Take a couple of minutes, talk about a little bit of future, because we are plugged into that whole enterprise ecosystem, constantly involved in what's coming next. We believe our attachment to the enterprise 2.0 space, especially clubbed with mass customization, it's just going one direction. It's going to grow. For us, mass customization combined with the deep technology around it was our gateway to how we formed the company and how we grew the company, and we will constantly keep growing on that. Like we mentioned, we don't want to be everything to everybody. We want to be something to somebody, and we'll stay that way. So for us, as far as we are concerned, there's a lot of problem to be solved. I mean, I can see this is a multi-year shortage of smart, skilled people to solve this problem for large enterprises. And that's not going to go away. We are constantly exposed to everything that's happening with the largest enterprise. Google, we were involved with Google, what they were trying to do internally for their servers. It's a problem. People need solution, and there is always a need for people with that skill to support problems like this. Also, from an infrastructure standpoint, that's one area we believe we will grow pretty fast. It's not another kind of an outlier that we are focusing on. It's something, once you know how to solve the problem, all the hardware, network, everything has to come together. It's a whole cycle thing, right? You had these mainframes and all these big box computers became personalized, became mobile, and now it's going back this way again. The cloud computing, it's nothing but the whole mainframe coming back in a different shape and form. So I think that whole, applying the same principles, what was there 20, 30 years ago, taking that, morphing this to what matters to today's problems, applying that back again, there is again a multi-year shortage. I'll tell you, we go through this routinely. There is a huge shortage of architects who can understand a problem, solve the problem, communicate the problem, and articulate it. If you can pick up on that to understand the problem, solve it, and communicate, pulling in anything, right? Software, hardware, network, business, people, behavior, philosophy, patterns, you can pick anything. If you can go pull that together and explain how you solve that problem, it's a huge shortage. And that's one skill I would say is going to stay forever. That's not going away anywhere. So future, just as you think about graduating out, think about how you're going to solve these problems. Think about how you can put these together and articulate a problem. If you focus on that, opportunities are tremendous. So before we hit questions, just want to kind of expose to a couple branding. What Keste is attached to. Howard and I believe that Keste by itself, it's hard to grow as a brand, right? You got to attach yourself to other brands that's going to help you grow. So anybody marketing majors, you got to kind of understand this. Neil can give you some tips for sure. Is to ensure that you as a brand can grow with another brand. So these are some of the brands that we have attached ourselves to as a company. Pick Super Bowl. We're doing a big event at the Super Bowl this year. So we are attaching our brand to the Super Bowl brand. So we're doing an event along with Oracle. We're bringing some customers and people who have worked with us and who have helped us grow. And that's a brand. You attach yourself to the brand. We'll be talking about that for the next 5 years until the next Super Bowl comes to Dallas. All-Star, Dallas, that's another big event that happened last year. We attached to that brand. So you start seeing this Keste brand attaching to these big brands that people can recognize with. So some of the other brands, US Open in Pebble Beach that we did last year.